that rendition of the Star Spangled Banner right now would bring tears to your eyes. It was beautiful. And this is the ramp up for former UN ambassador and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. She's holding her very first official event since announcing a 2024 presidential run on video yesterday. The second Republican to launch a campaign so far. Kellyanne Conway, a Fox News contributor, former senior counselor to President Trump. I mean, we were able to see that during the commercial break. If we could have taken it a few seconds early, it was amazing. Tell me your first thoughts as we hear from the former ambassador for the first time in her presidential run.
Harris, the credit goes to those who actually jump into the ring, and she's doing that with both feet. She's got a wonderful American dream story to tell. She's told it many times, so I think we're pretty familiar with it. I think the problem for Nikki Haley in running for president in 2024 is she refuses to mention Donald Trump's name, nothing to see here, except she left her governorship in the middle of her second term to take a position that he offered her as the United States ambassador to the UN. She did very well there. I don't know that her bio saying she kept America safe is completely accurate. That kind of work is done at the Pentagon, the State Department, the NSA, and folks down here in Washington. But she did proud. I think the issue that a lot of folks who otherwise would vote for Donald Trump in a Republican primary will have with Nikki Haley is she's played Hamlet about her support for him and about whether or not she would oppose him for the presidency. It's a free country. She's welcome to do it. But she has gone back and forth on that. I think they're particularly suspicious of her because she left that post at the UN in October of 2018. And when she did that, I happened to be in the Oval Office when she was there saying goodbye. I thought, this is great. We're going to have Nikki Haley, Indian-American female, out on the campaign circuit, maybe for the next month with Vice President Pence, trying to get Republicans over the finish line. No, instead she went and sat on corporate boards and made $200,000 a speech. Again, that's her right, but the voters have a right to know what she said in those speeches. I've talked to many people in the room when she was speaking. She talked a lot about diversity and inclusion. She didn't talk much about her former employer, President Trump. So I think it's going to be hard. Harris, usually people from an administration run against each other, but the boss is not there. This time the boss is running too. It's odd.
Let me just jump in. When she walks up to the lectern, we will go to her live. But let me just ask this. Is it necessary to talk about the former president when you possibly in your mind know you're going to run for the White House? Why is that important for Republican voters in your mind?
I think it's important because you can't ignore him. So the press would love to ignore him. The Democrats pretend he's not relevant. They're not afraid of him, and yet they can't complete a sentence about a spy balloon, energy policy, crime, the border, without saying Trump, Trump, Trump 50 times. If she's going to talk about her time at the UN, it's going to come out how she got that position. And again, I've always had a great relationship with her. We share a birthday. And I'm really glad she's running because I think Nikki Haley represents, Harris, what's happening in the Republican Party. We have more voters, more candidates, and more elected officials who are starting to look more like America.
I want to get to the Wall Street Journal editorial board on this. And again, I may interrupt myself if she comes out. Here's what the board wrote. She brings personal charisma to the presidential race, but no clear rationale for her candidacy. Her campaign announcement stressed a belief in America as a force for good, the seriousness of global threats and the follies of the progressive left. Is there a Republican presidential candidate who believes something different? What's your reaction to that?
That's my entire point here, which is, of course, if everyone's going to be running on some form of the America First agenda, they're going to have their market distinction vis-a-vis the voters, Harris, come in either their style, their biography, their vision for the future. Nikki Haley's making the case that it's time for a change in generational leadership. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who's my friend and whose inauguration I attended last month, made the same claim at her inaugural address and then in the rebuttal to Biden's State of the Union. So I think there is something in the air about generational change. But look, if everyone's going to run on these policies, Trump gets to say, I'm the one who accomplished all that. Thanks for the free commercial, everyone.
That is the most delicate way I've heard anyone talk about change with your age. I mean, but that's a struggle for the left, too. Everybody's taught. They just don't know how to put it quite like you did, Kellyanne. So, look, I do want to ask you this. If you're running as a GOP candidate, do you need former President Trump's rubber stamp? I mean, he's in the race, too. So it's more, what I hear you saying, it's more than just the recognition of Donald Trump. Do you need his support? Because his voters vote for him.
Well, do you mean running against him? She's not going to have his support against him. That's for sure. And I think
so what would she say now? Because she knows he's going to be an opponent.
That's right. So far, she hasn't really responded to him because he did come out yesterday and make the point about the corporate boards and that she left early, et cetera. So she's going to have to go out and introduce herself to the voters. And in so doing, she can say, I'm taking the high road. I'm not going to reply to tweets or truths or slights. But eventually on a debate stage with Donald Trump, which is less than 6 short months away, he's going to be able to say to each of them, look, that's a wonderful rendition of everything I accomplished as commander-in-chief and president. And yes, you had a bit part in that. But how are you going to convince the public that you can actually do that? How do they know that if you were in the big chair behind the Resolute desk, all this would have happened? And again, I think she's got a great American story to tell. And I will dismiss people, Harris, who say the women always run to be vice president. We're not running for the second chair. But I do think people will be salivating, thinking about Nikki Haley debating Kamala Harris, because any of us, I'm sure yourself included, would love to have that role. How to feel smart in 2 seconds.
At this point, the interview that I would potentially get might feel like a debate, but it would only simply be because we don't know much about what the current vice president really thinks about these issues, such as, objects in the sky and all of that. It's very generic, but that's a good point. Look, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina could very well be an opponent, too. She could face him for the potential GOP primary collision, as it's been called, if he gets into the race. What's your thought on that? I mean, these are two people whose politics are very close to each other, obviously. Scott's going to be in Charleston tomorrow delivering a speech on Black History Month. He then heads to Iowa for another event. It sounds like maybe sticking a toe in the water.
Sure. And also saying, look, Nikki Haley, I know that you were my governor while I was in the House and then the Senate, but I'm Tim Scott. I'm going to run also because I've got a lot to add to the conversation. Harris, again, whether it's Nikki Haley or Tim Scott, great for the Republican Party and its growth and its opportunity, showing the world, showing the nation that our party's candidates and voters and even indeed elected officials are looking more like America. I think Tim Scott's a great representation of that. I saw him last week in a meeting, and I know he's got a very robust and vibrant story to tell of his own, and he wants to share that with Iowans. Look, I think it's going to be a crowded field. If one person runs against Donald Trump, I do. I think if one person runs against him, 5 or 6 will. But remember, let's talk about South Carolina. It was a winner-take-all delegate process. It wasn't delegate process in 2016. Donald Trump won all 50 delegates, and he got 32.5% of the vote. Ted Cruz and I think one other, Marco Rubio, split 45% of the vote. So they came in second and third, zero delegates. So that's something to think about, too. And I think if Joe Biden's going to make South Carolina the first primary, of note, thereby showing his hand against Iowa and New Hampshire, that Tim Scott and even Nikki Haley have something to say about South Carolina going first.
Well, and I mean, it's interesting because those two candidates would know that state better than Joe Biden, not better than Clyburn, who Representative Clyburn basically got Biden over the hump, which is arguably why Democrats want South Carolina to go first, so he can get some wind beneath his wings. It's not going to be easy for Biden in any way, whether it's a GOP opponent or those within his own party. As you so delicately put it about that generational thirst, it is on. Kellyanne, it's always great to have you in focus. As the news warrants, we'll bring you back. I still don't see Nikki Haley at the lectern yet, so we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.